are reviewing previous minutes. Against my better judgment, I'm just reading this, and that's 2 pages.
Are you gonna update them, Janet?
I'll update as we go, yeah. We have changes.
So one thing is that, the accepting of the documents, the first one should say the minutes, the second one should say the director's report, and the third one should say the budget.
Oh, sorry, I just copied it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Minutes as amended. And, oops. Director's report.
Oh, I have some of the
And budget is right.
Yes. The third one should be budget. And then under the rally reads, first bullet point, paper evaluation needs to be data entered and analyzed. And then a sentence, Pam is hoping volunteers can do input should follow that sentence, because the way it reads now, it looks like I want the volunteers to write the report. You see what I mean?
All right, and then I'll move with him and be setting up thank you cards at the very end.
Yeah.
So I did
It
some
would be nice if they did.
Yeah.
I think I read the thank you cards too.
And Janet, under director's report, may be moved, should not be bulleted. None of the rest of them are.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, and then where was he then?
Under building and grounds, funds to pay for painting for the library, painting. Last bullet point, under painting.
Okay. All right, and you had the one to spelling of John McCallum's name.
And Joe.
I did not.
Yep, spelled it everywhere except in the
Oh,
office
no,
options.
down here too. Buildings and grounds.
It's MC, correct?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, probably. So-
Oh, yeah, you're right, subcommittee. Like to
Twice in subcommittees, yep.
I'd like to do MAC, I thought I was in
Just a small thing, under overdue books, patrons get an over,
Oh, that's its own bullet, okay.
yep, patrons get an overdue notice at 2 weeks and a bill at 49 days, and then a final bill at 91 days.
All right, patrons get an overdue notice.
At 2 weeks, or 15, I think it's 15 days,
15 days.
and a bill at 49 days, and a second bill at 91 days.
At 49, did you say?
Yep.
Days. And second. Okay.
And under July 4th holiday hours, we're going to be closed on Saturday, July 5th, because the 4th is a Friday. Okay, and under buildings and grounds, under lawn mowing, we're not requesting that the highway surveyor mow, we're just asking that we're allowed to keep our current arrangement with our vendor.
Okay.
Do they mow, does the highway department mow 1 week and we do the other?
No.
No, but because they
Nature's
would
Way
mow.
always mows.
Oh, it's always.
Yeah,
Nature's Way,
but it's
okay.
just, they pay for every other and we pay for every other, but it's the same
Oh, okay.
vendor.
All right, all right.
But I was worried that they
So
would say,
paid to do it, they don't
Right.
have to do it.
but what happened when the interim highway surveyor was on, he gave up outsourcing the mowing and started doing it all in-house, except for ours, because we had our own vendor.
Right, okay.
So that was the question, was will we be able to keep our vendor?
So I have it now, so Pam has sent an email to describe our needs for the organic lawn and requested he accept our current agreement where the town pays to mow our lawn every other week and will pay to have it mow the opposite.
You could say, also add by the current vendor, somewhere in there. Do we want to say the library instead of we? I never know about that. Sometimes it's
The
formal,
royal
sometimes
we,
it's
yeah.
not, yeah.
it's a little crazy.
Well, I asked because I thought Richard had it fixed.
Oh,
He
really?
told me he had it fixed so it doesn't overshoot the, apparently not.
Oh, my battery's 10%.
Well, I don't have a charger with me.
All right, is there anything else on the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Sorry, I'm just saving them before I forget to do them. Six folders later.
And you'll send that to me, a reminder.
Director's report and budget. Would you like to go through it, Pam?
Month-to-month comparison, circulation is down 10%, patron count is
Wow.
down nominally. But I think Circ is still up for the year.
Any thoughts on why it's down so far in May? That's crazy.
No.
Especially after two huge increases in
Mhm.
March and April.
Mhm. Downloadable items continue to circulate well. We're up to 1,400 songs downloaded, and I would really like to get close to 1,800. We talked about this last month, that makes it $1 a song.
And so the deadline on that would be June 30? Okay.
I mean,
And right now,
we don't quite get there.
each patron can download 3 songs per month.
Five per week.
Per week?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, but that's definitely a success, that's a lot of usage.
I think so.
Melissa?
Yep. And it was funny, we talked last month about streaming. I was just reading an article, I think today or yesterday, that Apple's kind of fallen off the boat of dominating e-music because they sort of missed the whole streaming thing, that everybody wants to stream now. They don't need to own that song taking up space on their hard drive. So that's the trend. But as we discussed, there are a lot of them out there, so.
Amazon just launched
Mhm.
Music Prime.
Mhm.
iTunes actually does have streaming service. So,
I guess the article was just about how they, they sort of, iTunes was it, and then they were just so, they were so like, we solved the problem, it's iTunes, and then other stuff happened, and now they were behind and kind of catching up on the streaming.
A different place for them to
Yep, exactly. 10 people came to our local author panel with Holly Robinson and Carla Pansiera, and they are always super fun. And the walking tour will be here tomorrow. They'll be performing a concert. And Maggie, want to give us a little preview? She went to tonight's.
I went tonight and it was really beautiful. It was really fun to have them out in the open. They were just under the trees right in front of the house at Spencer Pierce Little. Very communicative, really great, would very much go hand in hand with what we did with the Orchard. It has that sort of traditional folk bluegrass feel to it. So it was really nice. If you have a small crowd, it would be bad to do it in a little rose garden.
I thought they wanted to be inside.
Oh, okay, they might want to be.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's because the street's right there or what, but I know they are acoustic.
That's true. I saw them online as, but it was very pleasant. And again, it was very small because I don't think it was particularly well advertised for that location. So very interactive, very responsive. But I I was kind of excited about the idea of it. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We can try to catch a few shows as they work their way through.
I'm excited as well. And I think we will get a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
The Grange isn't having one of their dinners tomorrow.
No, that was
First, fourth?
There's no sign up.
There's no sign up?
No.
Okay.
They always have to sign up for the,
Yeah. I want to say it's the fourth Wednesday they do their dinners, I'm not sure.
and they generally don't do them in the summer, like June.
They take the
July,
summer
August.
off, yeah,
They might not be doing June,
yeah.
All right.
too hot in the kitchen.
Janet's remembering one time we had the Triton Jazz Band out here on a Grange night, and a lot of people brought their
Everyone
dinners
was showing up with
cake.
takeout dinners from the Grange and hanging out there.
Great.
It was wonderful.
Wasn't planned, but it was
A
fun.
tanglewood kind of thing.
Yeah, it really was. It was very tangible.
Yeah. And then, of course, the next big thing is the summer reading program. The model is going to be pretty much the same as last year. Programs for children every week, including special storytellers, magicians, puppets, whatever. Lego club. Mr. McGuire is doing his reading club again, which is hugely popular. Everybody loves Mr. McGuire.
Is there a limit to how many people he will take into that group?
I don't know.
I know that they're requiring to sign up.
I don't know. They might just, I know they provide a snack, so it might be they just need a number. Yeah.
And is,
You look at the calendar, what am I forgetting? There's, the kids yoga goes through the summer,
there are teen programs
teen
on
program.
Thursday nights.
And the teen programs are kind of open-ended right now. I think they want to get the teens in and have them sort of plan their own events. And then for the adults, every book that gets read gets your name entered in a raffle and also contributes $1 to the food pantry.
You are doing a live collection.
Mm-hmm.
And are you doing like the bookmark thing to get your name in?
I believe Amy is doing that, yes, yes. And there was some question as to whether the food pantry got their check last
I
year.
don't believe they
And I
did.
don't know if they did.
And they keep saying they'll look into it, but we haven't yet.
And nobody
So
has looked into
I'll
it,
ask
so
Karen
maybe that's, yeah.
I'll drop her an email.
And how is that kept track of? Is it based on books checked out?
No, there's a, it looks almost like a bookmark and you read it, your name and the name of the book that you read,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually a big jar.
Yeah.
Decent.
We call it a ticket. I think the first year we did it, there was some sort of like theme that made them be tickets. It's like a
Because
travel
The
theme.
children's program
Yeah.
was One World, Many Stories, so they did like all the countries of the world
Mhm.
in the library, and so that was Eileen, right?
Yeah,
She
with like
She did like a-
destinations or
like a-
something.
train ticket that you would write where you were going
Mm-hmm.
and collect it, and they kind of used the same.
Mhm. And this will be, I think, the fourth year of the adult summer reading, and we've increased both participants and books read every summer.
Oh, neat.
So
That's not like it.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
yeah. And the grand, I think both for the teens and for the adults, the grand prize is a Kindle. And then the adults also, there's a weekly drawing for a gift certificate to Jabberwocky. And then for the kids and the teens, there's tons of prizes. There's little tchotchkes and books and maps and I don't know what all.
Are the gift certificates doing anything?
They're discounted. I think they give us 15 for 10 or something like that, or maybe just 10% off, but they are discounted. And then some building issues. After they came and inspected the sprinkler system, which they do every year, now we have an air system, which means that there's not water sitting in the pipes, there's air sitting in the pipes, and the pressure is kept up within our compressor. But I think every 3 years, they have to what they call trip the system and make sure the water comes out. It's part of the NFPA regulations. So, and then of course they drain it in theory, and it goes back to being dry. However, it clearly had not drained, and not just this week when they did it, but it had not drained the last time they did it, because you could see the level of the corrosion in the pipe. There was water sitting in there for a while. So when they did it again, we had a leak. It wasn't that bad. We lost a ceiling tile, but no library materials. So as far as these things go, pretty lucky. They replaced the pipe, and they put in a valve. Now they know that's a low spot, so they can drain that spot as well. next time it's tested. Although I'm not sure I want this company back anymore, ever again. So then a couple of days later, I came in on Friday, and thank goodness I did, because the thing was hissing like you wouldn't believe, and the air compressor was running. So much so that it was hot to the touch, and the room kind of smelled. It was overheating. Chief Broderick came over, he shut it off, and then they came and fixed it again. And they discovered that it was a faulty gasket in the first repair that just gave way. So, in the course of all this, they also dropped the fact that we need to test the sprinkler heads every 10 years. Now, what this vendor said was, it's not worth your trouble to test them because it costs however many thousands of dollars, you might have to just replace them. And then while you're in there, you might as well just make it a wet system because it doesn't really need to be a dry system.
Oh, no.
And he was really pushing that.
What's a wet system versus a dry system?
So the water's in the pipes all the time.
Oh, I see.
Right
But
over
you don't really
right
want it
over.
over your books.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And who is pushing that, the vendor?
Commonwealth Sprinkler.
Yeah, because
The
they
vendor
have tons of
who do
experience
these.
with libraries.
Right. So I talked to Chief Broderick about it, and basically, he was gonna look up the NFPA regulations, the regulations exactly. He thought it might be like a few from each thing. I sort of thought I saw somewhere it might be 25% have to be tested. I'm not sure. And the other thing is that the dropped ones, which is basically all of them, are custom because there's a pipe going through the ceiling, and then there's a certain length pipe coming down with the sprinkler head on it, and that whole thing is considered the sprinkler head. So they're very expensive. What Chief Broderick suggested, he suggested two things. One is that talk to several different vendors. He said he can't recommend anyone, but if you look in the phone book, all of them listed in the phone book have worked in town buildings. Talk to them all, get a price. He also said we probably want to work this into our fiscal 16 budget because it's going to be substantial. When I floated the idea of a wet system by Chief Broderick, he said they would be happy to come over on a cold winter day with their thermal imaging equipment and check and see if we have cold spots, if we have leaks. He can also maybe help us find that other leak in the roof. So that would be helpful to know.
Does he recommend dry versus wet at all? Either way?
He said, doing the thermal imaging would help us make a better decision. So long as there's not any cold spots.
My concern
About
would
corrosion,
be,
that's what she just.
Okay, so here's the other thing I was told, is that the corrosion occurs when there's both water and air in the pipe. If it's
That makes
just
sense.
water,
Okay.
does that sound right to you, John? I don't
Yeah.
know.
no oxygen?
I mean, I deal with data centers, and we have dry systems,
Mhm.
and we don't test those, period. That is, no. We rely on the work when they're supposed to. There's some mnemonic when testing goes on,
Mhm.
and I can check with some of the data center managers, with the technical guys, which I will. But water, paper, no. No.
My
I've
concern
had
is just, if ever we lost heat.
Right.
I mean,
There's
on a
that too.
weekend, this building's
It's
uninhabited
not
for a
just
long
that.
time.
Yeah.
It's that if you have a wet system and people go, oh, things don't, no, stop. I do disasters. They happen.
You know what,
They
it
do.
it actually,
Heads snap, someone's changing a light bulb,
yeah.
they trip on the ladder, oh, yeah.
There was a sprinkler issue at our network at MVLC in their server room, and yeah, it was something, like someone was working in some other part of the building and maybe sliced through, somehow they set off the tamper or whatever, and the sprinkler system.
It takes two events to charge a dry system. So you have to have one of the heads trip, and then a second one, or you have to have a fault in the system, and then another thing. It takes two events
Yeah,
for the system to be well, one charges it, the second one sets it off.
yeah.
So they got something not good happening. So anyways, I'm just very passionate about that. That's the,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
no, oh,
I've been told before that the building committee was kind of sold on it, and maybe it wasn't really necessary. And I don't know how or why they decided to go with it, because it is more difficult as far as maintenance.
Yeah, I wasn't on that section.
But it makes sense.
So, that's gonna be fun.
So what would be the couple of lines, just to make sure that I've got this right? Essentially, they recommend that we replace the sprinkler system,
Sprinkler heads.
sprinkler heads, okay.
That we test them.
Right, so we have to test, I don't know if it's a percentage, we have to test some of our sprinkler heads, which means taking them out, putting a replacement in, having them sent somewhere, however they're tested. And so long as they function on the test, then we're fine for however many more years. But if they fail the test, then I'm not
Do
sure
you
what
have a
happens.
compressed air system?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Generally, for a dry system, it's not, you don't, it's too much. A dry system literally is you have dry pipes there. So I'm just doing a little research on it.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Is that something that you would request building and grounds somehow help you with?
I would love that.
I don't know what exactly, how.
I can go get some vendors.
That'd be great. And at this point, you know, like I said, it's not gonna happen until fiscal 16, so right now we're just collecting information. What exactly is required, what is the cost to do it? And again, I may very well wish to switch vendors going forward for our maintenance.
How many square foot is this building? 14,000?
Yeah, 13 and change, yeah. Yeah.
So you guys can coordinate what you exactly want to tell and ask the
Mhm.
vendors and.
Mhm.
Excellent. Thank you, Josh. Anything else on the director's report?
I move to accept.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Janice Jack?
Yeah.
Who's the George's? Does she know to come to the side door?
She'll come up. You look at that.
I'll keep an eye out.
Once again, I have a
Budget?
more current budget because I paid a light bill, and that's always a big deal. So as you know, there's just 2 weeks left in the fiscal year, so everything's like, I'm not sure I have the postage to mail these, but we'll see.
Do you want to stock up on those?
Well, yeah, but these are,
Oh,
they're not, yeah, they're not regular stamps. So where we are with the budget right now, the $2,000 that appears to be left in our line is already spent. We will have about $900 surplus in the wage line. I have 3 book orders on hold right now, and there's still 2 weeks of things that could just appear that I wasn't expecting. And there's a big fat bill from the pipe and the thing that I don't have yet. So I'm definitely going to transfer that $900 from wages to expenses. And I may also have to go to the finance committee and ask for reserve fund. And, you know, a building repair on June 7th is, what can you do about that, you know?
It's not the budget.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, Pam, where will you have to go?
Finance
The
committee.
finance committee to request a reserve, transfer from the reserve fund. But as I said, I don't have the bill yet, so I don't know if it's just a couple $100. It should be okay with this small little transfer between lines, but if it's more than that, and, you know,
There's nothing left.
You've got money in energy and utilities.
right, yeah.
Otherwise moving in.
Well, but I have several negative lines as well. It's balanced out. If you look
Did you
down,
ask the vendor not to invoice you until July 1st?
I can.
Would that be an easier solution, or the money's not there next year either? So.
It's not planned for, certainly.
Right, it's not planned for, yeah.
I think we have to wait and see how much it is.
Exactly, when I know how much it is. I will tell you that the bill for the trip test is $750, and that's just sort of a set fee. So it just comes down to, like, first of all, they came back twice, once because they screwed up. They're obviously not charging me for that. So it's just whatever their labor costs and that little length of pipe are.
What happened with the bill for the thermostat check, where they,
Oh, I just paid it.
They rephrased it.
They did give me a new bill,
Okay.
and I considered disputing the whole idea of the bill because he came out here and he did it, by his
He
own,
didn't check
by his
them.
own admission, he came out here and he didn't do anything. But it was still, he still drew, it's still a service call.
It's a service
It's
call.
still
He
a
was here,
service
it was
call.
in town, and
Yeah,
part of the reason was
exactly,
there was no
So,
explanation.
right. So I considered disputing it, and then I just said,
Well, the bishop requested Carmen.
I know, it's just, which is always nice.
and they have, and actually, I wanted to ask Joshua this, every quarter, so, okay, donations in the revolving fund, I deposit into on a monthly basis. The MEG, we get from the Board of Library Commissioners twice a year. So the Emerson, the Jewett, and the Bishop, which are all in our, I think it's called the Bartholomew Fund, does that sound right?
Maybe the town's
Yes.
fund.
Yes, the
We're
town
the
puts,
town.
the town puts all the funds in one big investment. So those, I get a notification of interest that comes to me quarterly. And the last one said quarterly interest and market realization, or something like that. And it was substantially more than it usually is, and I didn't know what that meant. That's just like an adjustment,
Market's up.
just an adjustment to what the fund is
Whatever
worth.
it's invested in.
Well,
Okay.
wouldn't market realization be that they realized the gain that they sold off something?
And that might not have been exactly what it's called. It might have been something, I mean, I think it's a market gain, right?
But that could be.
And they just have to-
sell something.
They just once
make
a
money.
year have to figure it in. Yeah. So anyway,
Because this is not cash that they've given us to deposit, this is our share of that balance that remains invested.
this is the interest.
Right, but the,
That we own in that bigger pool.
but the
No, there's
58
principal in the pool. This is the interest. This is what is spendable.
Well, for the bishop request, the whole 50 is spent.
That's correct, yes. The
Okay.
Emerson, and then that's true for the Jewett as well, but the
Okay.
Emerson, there's a big chunk of principal that gets, actually, there's 4 beneficiaries from the Emerson Trust.
Right, but what you're showing here is what we have access to.
Yes.
Right.
Our liquid assets in that pool.
So so for the Emerson, the 69,000 is interest,
Yes.
Earned over time.
Earned over time.
which remains invested.
Yes.
So it's not like it's sitting in a cash fund somewhere.
No.
No, but we could use it if we needed to.
Yes.
And where is the bank? Where is the
Um,
physically, is it deposited?
I think it's just kind of into, but not really part of the general fund. It
Okay.
doesn't, it does not earn interest.
Okay,
Which one?
the bank that they're,
Oh,
The state
yeah,
funds.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
so it's in the general fund, but it's our money.
Yes,
Okay.
and that, and
Allocated.
And that's by state law. It is allocated to the library for whatever the library.
Okay.
And our discretion.
Yeah.
like a big television screen.
Like a big television.
It's just because traditionally we've used it for electronics of some sort.
And that, and this year, don't forget, they agreed to give us capital money for our computer technology replacement plan, which has also always come out of LIDMEG. So we
Is
need to
that-
think of another purpose for LIDMEG, yeah.
I think John just did.
Maggie, I have another vendor coming tomorrow to do a walkthrough of the room.
Oh, good.
Someone who contacted me, now that we're part of the MHEC, there are companies out there just kind of saying, hi, I'm with the MHEC, do you have any work coming up? And I said, sure, give us a proposal.
And that might be, I mean, if they're going out and looking for municipal
Mhm.
business
Yeah.
deals, it's probably gonna be a better option than what I can offer you on the corporate side.
Well, I mean, and plus it's just good prudence to have a few
Yeah,
vendors,
absolutely.
and, you know, give you proposals.
And they might have very different recommendations for technology.
Mhm.
My own,
No, I mean, couldn't really get like a straight answer on that.
my only input there is that if we're gonna put the screen up there, whatever you look at, go bigger. Because, and get the most state-of-the-art, because in 2 years, it's obsolete.
Yeah. Well, if, from curtain to curtain is 90 inches.
So 80 goes just right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
80
not-
is the diagonal measure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So we could do like a,
don't think small when you're doing this,
So
just
it's
go for
it's
it.
110-inch television,
I
it's
think.
largest television production.
And I think, I think the price point
But I agree.
between 70, 80, 90, I think it needs somewhere in there is a big jump. So that just might be a consideration.
Yeah, the 80s are around 35 to 4,000, going
Mhm.
something like that.
I think the quote we had at 7 didn't.
Quote we had was 7, I believe, yeah.
7,000.
Then that was probably for 90.
That was my
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big jump. That's a big jump.
Get you on that price.
And Joshua, I did talk to the Friends. I got the information from the Depot Square Foundation, and the Friends were intrigued by it, and, what might be the best situation would be if the Friends and the trustees and maybe a foundation type thing kind of shared the cost.
So, for that foundation, the trustees can write
It
that
has to
grant.
be a 501c3.
It does, it has to be.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So it-
But they were open to it. I mean, I don't know who it would be, but in theory, they were open to it.
Right. We can talk to them some more about that.
But as Joshua said, that organization doesn't meet until November, so I don't know if we want to wait that long. But I guess, I mean, it's a,
We can think of something else to ask for.
this is true.
All right.
I would say just something,
Oh, they take them all the time?
Can't hurt to submit it now anyway.
So think about it.
In the past, do you know if they've ever called special meetings?
I really kind of wanted to,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what my position here is, I mean, I think I can talk after, but.
Anyway, okay, are there any questions on the budget?
To accept the budget?
Motion to accept?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Since Josh is wearing the shirt, I nominate Josh to head up all 3 75th events that are related to the library.
What a beautiful shirt.
They've done very well, some of those shirts.
Have they?
Yeah, like over $1,000 they've raised.
Nice.
selling
Well, they
t-shirts.
posted
They've had-
the just before Father's Day,
Yeah.
which is perfect.
Yeah, Drew got the cap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
There's a cap, yeah, there's a ball cap with the same logo. It's
they've
very
had to
nice.
reorder and everything.
Have they
It's
reordered
great.
already? Good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
Because they didn't order, they ordered, I think the minimum was 12.
Pharmacy sells them.
So they got like 12 of each color, each size, yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I was trying to convince.
I know there's a
the
pharmacy, I'm pretty sure it's town hall
They
also.
need to buy
In Town Hall, you can get the flag, the rally flag.
And it's
as
like
well.
screen, you know, people will pay $10 for children's
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
Did they order both men's and women's sizes now? I think originally it was just men's sizes.
Usually they only do one set of sizes. I don't know, I mean, I'm only thinking back to the last one. I don't remember beyond that.
Every 25 years.
I think last time it was
Long
just
way of 25
kind of
years.
unisex sizing. I don't know what they did this time. We can look. So Raleigh 375th, the library would like to have some sort of representation in the parade. But however, that means somebody needs to organize that and figure out what that exactly is. So we're looking for volunteers.
I'm happy to be part of the organization committee, however, I'm also part of the parade committee, so it's entirely possible I wouldn't be able to march with the library if I need to be behind the scenes on the library. But I'm happy to brainstorm and
Is the Friends doing their own vote?
I have not heard anything from the Friends. I think it would be, if anything, combined. I don't think they would do their own.
I have no idea.
The Friends right now, honestly, are desperate for support. They are barely holding together meetings right now. So if you have friends, cousins, brothers, anybody that is willing to be a friend. They really, and we need them, so we need people to really talk up the friends, so. We did manage to have a pseudo meeting this past week, but they literally had one officer there.
Although they voted in a new one.
It's true, they did vote in a recording secretary of sorts, simply because the voting is a little difficult.
I was gonna say,
But, well, they had enough members there. I mean, I can't vote, Pam can't vote, but there were enough other people
members.
just to,
There was 3 people there, so one person could motion, the other person could second, and the 3 of them could vote.
right.
So
I mean,
three-
it's
so
that
then-
desperate at this point. And so that actually gives them 3 officers again, because they were down to 2. And that was simply the circumstance. It wasn't that their recording secretary abandoned them. She literally ran out of time.
And I think
And
they,
really, there should be 4. There have been 3 members
Right, there
of
should
the
be.
board for quite a while. There should be 4, at least.
right.
They haven't had a vice president for a while.
Mhm.
Not since they promoted
Right, to
Nancy from
president.
vice to president.
Who's the head of the Friends?
Nancy Judge.
And she's also running out of time. She is willing to hang on to the presidency to have a president, but she really doesn't have the time to truly be the president. And also, I think she would hang on to it and make the effort if she had a vice president that she could share responsibilities with.
It's sort of a double-edged sword. There aren't many people there to share the work, so there's burnout is very high.
Right,
That's
exactly.
really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So we need more active volunteers in the organization. And again, the library needs this organization, so we really are trying to help it hang on. So again,
Could someone say that they want to get involved? Reach out to them.
Definitely.
Well, I
It's
know.
up to you.
yep,
I've heard so many people who are involved in other groups, and they say, as soon as I'm done with this group, I want to move over to the library friends. Like, all of them, I think, seem to expire soon.
sometime in the future.
Yeah, so hopefully there's going to be this huge flood of people into the friends.
We need to bring them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when we have an event, the volunteers show up. We have the book sale, we have the chili cook-off. We definitely have volunteers that
Yeah.
show up, but we need the more consistent month to month.
And the planners.
Yeah, and we can change the night. If Tuesday nights don't work for people, we can figure out to meet on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever.
And the friends can do a lot of business by email too. In fact, they even talked about maybe going to a quarterly meeting schedule.
They
which,
did.
Which wouldn't work when you're actively planning a fundraiser, but you're not always.
And I think they decided that it wouldn't work for now while they're trying to actively recruit, because you don't want someone who might be interested today to have to wait 3 months to go to an actual meeting.
And
to see if they
that's
like it.
why they decided they probably will have a July meeting, so.
Are they 501c?
Yes,
And we can't serve because we're trustees.
we can be members, but we can't be an officer, and we can't go to meetings. But, I mean, you can still show up and, volunteer.
Do they follow their meeting laws?
No.
They don't have, they're not a town organization, so
They don't have to have open meeting laws. They do sort of follow Robert's rules a little.
Okay, no, it's just good to know.
But, so yeah, right now, they meet the Tuesday before we meet, so second Tuesday of the month. But again, they are absolutely willing to change that date if they can get volunteers, the Tuesdays aren't good, so. Spread the word, please. And yes, the shirts are at town hall or the pharmacy, and it does not look like they have men's and women's, but rather just one.
The men's are a little large on,
I have heard that they run large in general.
Good.
well, the women seem to have them.
But then don't forget that this picture might not, they might have posted this picture when they first got them.
Right, well, that's
If
true.
they got enough
because
feedback that people wanted women's sizes, they might have ordered them.
I guess I said that mostly because it just says shirts. It doesn't say men's shirts, women's shirts, or anything.
Mhm.
It just says shirts. I don't know. Anyway, it's certainly worthwhile checking into.
But I'm saying I don't know how often their website is updated.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And
All
I'm-
right.
And I'm marching with my employer, so.
Oh, are you guys marching? And the scouts, I think, are marching.
I would assume so.
I think I've heard that they are, so it could be that there's a lot of different.
Would there be any interest from the staff to participate in the parade?
I would think so.
So,
So I flipped through this custom catalog kind of looking for things to give out at the parade. We can have balloons made. We would have to also buy the helium, which is very expensive. We can have mints made with our logo on it. Or I also looked at pencils, if we wanted to do something custom. And I think we also want to consider, do we want to do something custom, at the very least a bookmark, or something, a mug t-shirt, I don't know, for just to commemorate the 375th.
And the
So you need to hand out as we're parading, as we're marching?
Or maybe, I don't know,
No, I like
I mean,
that.
we can't sell anything, the friends could sell something. But, yeah, I don't know.
So are you talking about handouts or selling for fundraising?
I guess either.
I don't know that we would want to get into selling something for fundraising. It's a town
But we could
thing,
do
it's
it
not the
at-
library.
Well,
I know,
we
but
could do it
even
anyway,
working with the
that's-
friends, you
Well,
know.
that's an issue for the
I was
friends.
thinking like a Christmas ornament that might have like a picture of the library or something on it that would commemorate the 375th, but would be something that you put on your tree or something year after year
It's
after
a good idea,
year.
because it'll be September, so it'll be closer.
Right. I think that, I don't know, to me it seems more logical to do that for the 10th anniversary of the library.
But didn't that already count?
It's this year.
Yeah.
So the actual
Yeah.
anniversary passed, yes.
However, that sign out there says 1891, which means in 2016, we're 125.
So,
Which I think is a
that's
big
more
deal.
significant.
Yeah.
That's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
For handouts as we march in the parade, I think maybe we should start with candy. I think a lot of people will do candy.
Yeah.
I think we should do something that's like screams library. I
I
like.
like the pencils
Pencils?
or the bookmark of some sort.
I mean, bookmarks we can print it for nothing. so-
Right. But you know, a pencil people would put in their pocket. Like, what are they gonna do on the parade route? I mean, I guess people might have purses or something.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't like balloons because then they just float away and birds check on them and things like that. So,
Yeah.
So pencils,
pencils, pens, I don't know, something else
Mm.
that you can actually give away easily like that.
yeah, and I don't know how many you want either. Like, this is 18 cents for 1,000, so that'd be $180.
What about a magnet with our banners?
You know what, the friends actually agreed to buy us magnets, and we were waiting on our logo redesign.
Oh, okay. And we don't have that yet.
Kind of.
We do, don't we?
Kind of. I mean, yeah.
I'd like to see something that, just because it's a 375th anniversary, something that's gonna last longer than
Well, what do people think about magnets? Should I look into
I
that
think
again?
magnets are a really good idea.
I think magnets.
Because that'll, you can stick it on the fridge and, you know, we can be there for a while.
Do we need to
All the new hours.
Do we need to consider the fact that as we're marching, we could pass hands to every single person on the street? I mean, I guess if we run out, we run out,
No,
but,
really, we kind of,
Well, that's why I was looking at 1,000 for the,
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, because I'm looking at book lights and stuff, I just don't think we can afford that. Book lights, like, this is only $3 each, but if we.
right. That's why out of this whole catalog, I marked 3 things.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got book lights, bookmarks, pencils, pens, magnets.
And kind of,
that's my favorite.
Now, okay, here's another idea. Maybe we pick a day, and the first 50 people to come to the library that day get a book light. And like, that's our open house for the 375th.
I like the idea
That's
of doing an open house, so maybe that's where we get our nicer handout.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense.
what about the little flashlights? Did you say that already?
No, well, I thought of book lights, but like these,
Like the
Yeah,
AV book light.
or just like a little flashlight.
Like the
Like a
keychain
keychain
flashlight.
flashlight.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's a like a double A battery size.
all right, these are about, if we order 150, they are $1 a piece. If we order 1,000, they're only 82 cents a piece, still $820.
Yeah,
And we've got 1,000 of them, which.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something more along the lines of like the first 100 people to visit the library, or, you know,
Yeah, no, I think that's.
to go, or to come to the open house. I mean, yeah, there's a million little things, there's like little earbud holders, there's like flash drives, of course.
And we've definitely talked about those as a giveaway on a smaller scale too.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people use
Chargers.
them to come to the library.
What's that?
Flash drives?
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing to consider is what are we going to do on November 6th? September 6th, thank you.
And September 6th is the parade?
Yes. So the parade starts at 11, but starting at 10, they're gonna start staging, which means that parts of Main Street will start being shut down. The parade is gonna finish on the Common. It's a Pied Piper parade. Hopefully we'll follow it to the Common. The grandstand viewing area is gonna be on the lawn in front of Town Hall, so that is gonna have some construction and stuff on it. So I don't know who would be able to get to the library.
Where's it sounding?
Railroad Ave.
Railroad.
Yeah.
So staging is Jellison, Railroad, and Main Street, and then that's where it starts.
Okay.
So what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that I don't think anyone's gonna be, no one will be able to drive to the library that day. I mean, I guess they would.
Unless they come early.
But we don't open.
Library
Yeah,
opens at
till
10.
And that's when they're gonna start to shut down
And then if the parade, I mean, later, I guess you could, but you would still have so much stuff.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
What about a table set up on the common or something like that?
We can certainly do that.
Or a couple of canopies, like for the book sale, canopies, just at the end of the thing with the library, and have drinks and snacks or something for whoever.
Okay.
Well,
Be a
they're
viewing
gonna
area.
have food on the Common, they're gonna have different vendors on the Common, and I think that they're trying to control who they are as far as permitting and stuff like that.
But I like John's idea, even if you just set up the tents and it was someplace that somebody could
get in the shade.
get in the shade.
Well, it's like
And watch
it's a
the
library
parade go by.
hospitality thing. You can have, talk to the council on aging if they'd like to put some of their people here so that they can get a nice shady spot to watch it, observe, and, if the family's running around, it's gonna be plenty beforehand. Again, like a library hospitality thing, gets people into our property, we're right there, use the front yard.
What if we make that day our open house?
That's what I was just
Yeah.
thinking, as if we did another thing like.
Well,
we did
is that too
the
much?
brunch.
Is that too much? Because you.
So that's the thing is what are our responsibilities? And last time we kind of put it together, the brunch together, and we wouldn't be available to do that.
Well, and that's the other side of this. Are we marching? in the
If we're
parade?
going to have something in the parade, we can't also be here having a hospitality tent or anything else.
Right.
Unless we get a lot of volunteers that.
Or a lot of staff.
Or a lot of
which
staff.
we would have to
Hey,
pay. I mean, if we want
Well,
staff
if
to
we
march.
wanted to march in the parade,
Then we
Staff
need
could
volunteers.
volunteer to march in the parade, but then if we require some of them to work, that might be unfortunate.
so the question is, the first question is, does the library open for business as usual? Where nobody can get here and everybody who's in town is gonna be down there? Do we open just so that there's another restroom for people to
that's
use?
what I was thinking.
That's what I think.
Or
we would turn
VAC,
into
depending
that
on
day.
how hot it could be, it's good September, but we could have, if we had late summer, I'd have.
And is it fair to ask the staff to deal with all of that? Like, they have to come to work early to avoid the traffic?
And then say, oh, wow,
Want to talk to the staff and just feel them out? How you feeling with it?
they'd all be here before 10 anyway, 10 o'clock is when it starts to.
Yeah, I don't think
reroute
they'd have to
traffic.
get.
It might not be hard, it might not be difficult for them to get to work.
It could be difficult for them to
It
leave.
could be difficult for them to
The
leave.
other thing too is we could be partially open, and that, what you were saying about a restroom, that's a great idea. Because we can section off the library,
Mhm.
so just open at that, and that's what I'm saying. Even from a hospital, you can just put free coffee out there, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah, or
Something.
bottles of water.
yeah, we could have some coolers with some bottles of water, and I'll be glad to make sure that that's stocked Again, I'm thinking more the council on aging might be a nice way
Mhm.
to do something with them, get them
Keep in
brought.
mind though, you might be marching with the staff.
I'm not watching.
Oh, you're not?
Boy.
Okay.
Well,
Marching
again,
days are done.
Okay.
you know, I hate to draw people away from the common. The idea is to get everybody to the common.
Well, this is for like before and during, and then, you know, as it passes, these
Mhm.
folks can all just move and we'll wrap up here.
Mm-hmm.
But there's gonna be a couple hours where there's gonna be an awful lot going on. People don't wanna be in the commons because they want to see the parade, so we'll
Right.
be along the route, you sits the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
so.
So Janet, how do you feel about loaning us your tents?
In general, fine, they're starting to wear out, so I can't guarantee.
The
they'll
library
still
does
be
not,
there.
well, we have a couple of tents that have been donated, but I've never actually put them together. I don't know what
No
state
one
they're
has. No one.
Why?
What's the matter?
Are they complicated ones, or
in. I don't know.
I can take a look.
They were difficult.
are they?
Are they the square ones? I mean, does it come in a big long sleeves, rectangular?
There's a box.
No, one of them's in a box, one of them's just like loose.
Okay, what if, there's a 3/7, there isn't a 3/75th meeting tomorrow.
There's not.
What if at the next 3/75th meeting, you ask their opinion? Ask them what they need from us. I know that they've got porta potties coming, they have food coming, maybe they have a preference.
And the
It's
other
possible
thing,
that if this is gonna be like Rowley Day, they may want it to be like a town holiday where
Right.
they shut down.
right, and we're probably the only department that's open on Saturday to even consider it. I know one of the things the 375th committee talked about was like a meet your town day, when all the departments had open houses. But you get into like police overtime, and it's just, they abandoned that idea really quickly. The other thing is that there are families, there are original settler families coming and having their reunions. And at least one of them, the Harrimans, has approached me for a meeting room space.
For that day.
Yes. Which is not,
So,
which I explained to her that we were gonna meet and discuss what we were gonna do that day. We didn't know yet. It's possible that accommodations could be made. You know, I don't know what time she wants or exactly what she wants. She might go with a church room.
so we could be open.
So, but another idea that we could do is have library tours, although again, I don't wanna take away from any of the stuff they're planning on Common. Because I think there's a lot to do already over there. How's Harriman spelled? Harriman, I think.
Like Broncos there, that crowd?
I'm not sure.
I'm more inclined
Let's see if I can get her.
to open if there's a request to use the room specifically for that day, I'm more inclined to be open to accommodate that request.
So I will fill out the 375th committee, I will fill out the staff, and then we can go from there.
But I think if we do decide to be open, then perhaps that should be the day also that is our open house. Because I don't know that there'll be a lot of business as usual being conducted. I don't think people are gonna be coming in to pick up a book.
Right, I think people who have library business will not be able to get to the library.
Right, so what we're gonna end up with is people who are in the area for the parade and the event on the common who happen to come in.
Mhm.
Then can we close off the library area and just have this area open?
Mhm.
I think that.
But then if we have the Harrimans in this room, then that's a whole other thing to consider.
I think that's a legit use for this room.
Yeah.
certainly.
Oh, I agree entirely, and I guess it depends how many of them there are.
It mostly depends what time we're looking at, you know?
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
gonna be
we've
here
certainly been
tomorrow.
accommodating to after-hours use of this room where we can.
Right.
I wonder if I have those things. Apparently, Commons out of business. I've used a lot of duct tape.
So, you know, maybe the library wants to invest in their own tents. We certainly use them every year for the book sale, and we'd have to store them somewhere.
I think
We could probably get them in imprints.
they don't take up too much.
They're very easy to store. store, honestly. My two live in the rafters in the garage.
And you could probably put store in there.
Yeah, it's gonna say in the mechanical room or
Or like
something.
under one of Richard's shelves.
If they're put away properly in the tube-like thing,
But I think there's
Josh
room in
mentioned,
the, I think there's room in the shed.
they're super easy to put away.
Where's the current
Shed
one
is
we're at
in-
now?
Fuller.
What's that?
Where are the two that we own now?
I don't know.
In the front.
In the
book
storage room.
So then we're trying to put them together?
Yeah. Joshua, are you gonna drag them out and see what they look like one of these
I'll
days?
take a look at it.
Great.
Do we have access to it tonight?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll take a look at it right after this, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So wait for minutes.
So Joshua, are you making an appraisal of whether we should buy new ones or if the old ones will work?
I was just gonna see if the old ones are functional and if they're decent, but if we decide to do that.
I can say with confidence right now, they are not functional.
Okay. They usually take a pretty good beating, I mean, depending on how badly they were treated, but we said one of them was never been used though, right?
One of
I don't
them
think
has
so.
never been put together
Here.
by us.
By us, yeah.
Were they donated from an organization or somebody,
They
or
were
just,
donated.
so were they used previously?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, then yes, it's very possible that they were good.
And I would think if they're gonna primarily be used for the book sale, perhaps the Friends would want to make that investment.
And they might, again, want to get them imprinted with their logo, yeah.
We
So-
could use them for Bubble Day, I mean, certainly there are events that
Yeah, it would be
We could
nice to
use
have a little shade out there for Bubble Day.
definitely,
Yeah.
jazz concert, I mean, there's definitely events, we could probably have more events out there if we had them.
The one I have, the ones I have are definitely easy to put them down.
Yeah.
We have one up right now that we've been doing some work
It's
under.
key to get the accordion.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you need 4
Really
people.
all the people's good too.
Yeah.
Two people can do it pretty easily.
Yeah.
As long as they're not
Moving
diagonal
back and
from each other.
Right,
Right.
yeah, you learn after a while how to do it.
It's like, okay, velcro that, watch your fingers, because you're gonna
You
get.
watch your fingers, exactly, yeah. And do it before it gets all the way to full height when you're only about 2. Okay,
Oh,
so
look, here's.
from that discussion, we got that Josh is gonna check our current tents. We are going to have at least the public areas of the library open on that day.
I don't think we decided
Oh, we didn't
No
decide that.
decision yet.
We're going to base that decision on what the staff feels
Pam's
doing
gonna,
at the
Pam's gonna
375
talk to the
Hampton.
staff and the 375th committee. Josh can explore the tents.
Not paying attention to my actions.
We, we need to research handouts, do we need, as you're talking to the staff, we should also talk to them about any interest in marching in the parade. If it's possible, if there's no staff interest, then we need to figure out how many trustees and friends we can get to do it.
And are we thinking at this point now, we just want like a banner and a march? Is anybody motivated to build a float?
I think we wrote about the float, but we talked about the carts. If there was some way we could coat the wheels of the carts to use them without ruining the
Oh, yeah,
wheels.
use replacement wheels.
I like the idea of the carts because we can have several small displays. This cart's
Summer reading program.
summer reading, this one's senior computer classes, this one is the local history room, this one's rally reads. We would need to have people to push each one, and we'd need a banner. Now, banners are currently on sale for $10 at Staples, so if we could get the new logo, I'm happy to order that. Do we have any
Banner vinyl,
art?
paper, it's sort of
It's
banner.
vinyl.
This vinyl. Oh,
Yeah,
$10.
actually, I have some in my
Amazing.
car, I can show you. Yeah, it was crazy. I had some delivered today, they were in the car.
Can imagine you doing
The other thing we talked about was the rally reads banner, somehow mounting it on the truck or something.
We decided that it's 6 feet tall and that would be impossible.
Oh, it's 6 feet tall.
We'd have to hang it off
Yeah, it's 6 by
the
10.
pickup truck somehow.
Yeah, we always said, we had talked about somehow getting it on the pickup truck, but that's tall.
Well,
Yeah, top of
How,
the
but
bed.
what about the one that we
wide
had
is
here?
it? It's 10.
No, but it's
Six
it's
by
not
10.
just-
Oh, you mean the display up
Yeah.
there, the tall display?
Could you,
Yeah, could we put that on wheels and spin it down the street?
Yeah.
We can get some casters for that, right?
It's funny, I just took that thing apart today and I said to Amy, is there any reason I should save this?
You did.
I did.
Okay. Because we could do
So
something
I'm just
like
gonna
that.
think about it for a few
Oh,
minutes.
Get
before-
some,
yeah.
get some casters at the hardware store and
We can make any sort of like material, sign out material and throw it over that for any event.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Who's
Okay.
taking research and handouts as an action item?
The one with the catalogs.
The one who isn't stuck. Hold on, where's the subcommittee list? Who's on outreach with me?
That would be me.
Maggie and
And
John, I
John.
think.
If someone takes parade, I will take all the rest of the 375th events, but I don't want to be point
When you say parade, what do you mean?
what to organize whenever the library will enter as a presentation in the parade.
Okay.
meaning potentially to recruit volunteers and to figure out the displays if we do end up using the carts. And
Okay.
Do you want to vote that John will do
I
that?
think I was just gonna say, like, I
That's
would
not
do
fair.
it if John doesn't step up, but I don't feel like I know everyone enough to know where my resources are on that.
I'll certainly start on it, I just can't emphasize enough, I may not be able to march with it, so if I do a lot of work to put something together, someone needs to make sure it gets in the parade. Yeah. So all right, so I'll research handouts. Pam, you can, talk to the 375th if we decide that we're gonna be open that day, maybe that's our open house, if not, we'll plan a different day for an open house.
So Michelle, can I just clarify too?
Yeah.
You're looking for cheap parade handouts and also maybe not so cheap sort of
Or
open
the
house
open house.
giveaways.
So our open house will be tours, handouts, maybe presentations of the history of the library, parade handouts, participants, and float/presentation ideas.
Would we want to, my wife gave me a book, The History of Raleigh, it's a series, history of a lot of the standard format, there's a bunch of them around. Would we want to think about getting a whole case of those? and
I was
having those
thinking
up?
about that and then having
Especially
them on
if
the
it's
car and like,
Yeah, those would be great.
the picture ones, you mean?
Well, it's a regular book, it's about, you know.
It's like a black and white cover.
Yeah, it's got a sepia tone cover.
Yeah.
With
Right,
a
right,
blog
yes.
and
Just a thought.
It's the Historical Society that sells them. I don't know who originally organized it, but it's the
You
Historical
probably bought them
Society.
there, but you can buy them at Barnes and Noble. Or Chatlock, you have to maybe, I've seen them in the bookstore.
The
buy
Historical
them at the
Society
pharmacy.
sells them as fundraisers, don't they? Don't they sell them to raise money?
They have several publications, I'm not sure that.
I don't think that's one of their.
They
publications.
add one of them. Do you want to find their website on that?
I would just want to make sure of that before we did it, to make sure we weren't giving out for free something that another department depends on. So
Right.
then again, if we
Yeah,
buy
well,
them from them, maybe they won't buy.
Then maybe they won't just do it themselves.
I think that's a good idea that someone should do.
Well, I wouldn't think if we were buying them from them,
Yeah,
they do
they
sell
sell
them,
them in America.
they sell them.
Yeah.
If we could buy them, if we wanted to do this and we bought them from them, we're benefiting both.
Right.
We're giving them the money.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to go to Barnes and Nobles and get them cheap and take away sales.
Right, that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
think the only way that we could fairly do it would be to buy it from the Historical Society.
Sue Hazen is now the president of that, isn't she?
Yes.
I will discuss that with her.
But
You want me to
maybe,
do that?
maybe that
I
could
see
be,
her, she's the chair of the parade committee.
Right.
Thank you though, John.
maybe instead of gift certificates, that could be our weekly handout for the summer reading program.
Good idea. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Get that out to the
Maybe
kids.
if it does what's right.
Kind of helping them, helping us.
It's available as a notebook for real?
That's what it says.
Wow.
Responsible, yeah. Is it downloadable on the program, the electronic?
That's what a notebook is.
No, but I mean, on the program we have? Is that-
On Overdrive, I did not know it was an ebook.
Mhm.
I'm really surprised.
You can get that, but not the orchard.
This was published
Well,
recently,
it's,
too.
yeah,
And I think that Images of America series is
yeah, it is a big
pretty
series.
big, yeah, well-known series, so.
I can look at our other vendors and see what kind of discounts we get too.
I do think it would be fair, however, to check with the Historical Society and make sure they're not planning on selling them.
Right.
I'll talk with Sue about it.
Because
to make
they-
sure we're not stepping on toes.
They did talk about different groups can have tables at the parade and like sell their commemorative stuff.
Right. So we don't necessarily, like we said, give away something they're gonna sell.
Right.
So, it's a great idea, it's, you know, fitting, it's a book, we're the library.
Another thing that we talked about is a photo contest, which I think we've kind of thought now to do it after most of the event, so it might be like a fall, even winter event, so that people can enter photos
From the event.
from the parade, from
Whatever.
everything that they've done. And the things we would have to iron out are who are the judges, and that might, you know, maybe we have the town judges and people can, every time you come to the library, get a vote or something like that. And we need to arrange someone to sponsor prizes, or at least a prize. One other thing I thought of, and I don't know what the legalities of it would be to possibly take the 12 most popular photos and create a calendar.
Calendar, that would be great.
A
So the
20
friends can do
calendar.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It would have to be a piece of the entry, you know, I can't think of what I want to say.
like when
You
you
had to
sign
sign
this
this
right,
right,
you
right.
allow us to.
You were allowed us to use it in a calendar,
You sign all your rights away.
at least for calendar purposes, yes.
Right, right, they would have to not sign the right to it, but like sign to give us permission to use it
in a
and
calendar.
sell it, or not us,
Or
but,
put it on our website.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, yeah.
yeah. So, we'd probably want to show the pictures September. No, we would probably, because we want to say the pictures have to be here by X date.
I don't think the gallery's open anymore. I think it's all booked. I know it's booked in October and November.
Is there somewhere else we could put them maybe?
Can we put them in here?
Well, this is kind of included in the gallery.
What if we put them behind the glass?
In the display case? I have to look at Amy's schedule. I'm just not sure.
You can put it in front of the birds.
Have them digital on the website.
I was thinking before of doing that, I just,
Just down.
did you want people, all those people behind there looking at them? To see them up close to vote on them?
On this wall. So the quilt that looks like the bookshelf?
Oh, this quilt, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the one that used to hang behind the one that we gave away somewhere along the line, sorry, that was still in my brain.
No, this one. And use that wall, depending how many we get. We'll look into it.
Curious about the 375th, is anybody doing like time capsule type of thing? I mean, that's kind of standard type of thing, isn't it? Did we ever think of doing maybe, or having a book that people could sign into and make some little quote or something like that? And, or maybe even a banner type of thing where people could write in their name and 100 years from now, we could bring it out at the 475th?
I've been thinking that the library should have a guest book anyway.
I mean, you'd have to, the thing with I mean, you couldn't do it all the time for, you know, guest book, it was, well, especially visiting artists, things like that, I mean, it would be great if you were a guest book in the library. But, I mean, if you were to do it just open all the time, you'd have a lot of books really quickly. People would fill them up, but, you know, you wouldn't, but, yeah, I don't know if the 375th is already planned.
I don't think so.
That's a
But
great
being,
idea.
I think having a book with everything, you know, that we held on to for 100 years, or we could give it to the Council on Aging, to hold on to it, or something like that, or historic, so, just, yeah, of course, the Historic Society completely. But we kind of, it
A
could
book
be.
where people would write, not just sign their
I
name,
would
but submit something.
Right.
A message, yeah, write a message, you know, to your grandchildren 100 years from now. But granted, there would be people who, you know, kids probably that would not do it well, but I
Mhm.
think even that's still part of But who knows, I mean, might be, very well.
What if
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
an
you get
essay
one of
content?
those, like, one of those scrapbooks with the archive quality paper, and you can even take the books, a lot of the books apart, so you could give out the pages. People could take them home, fill them out, and then submit them back at a certain time. You could even display them before you put them in the capsule.
Or have everybody submit a page.
Mm-hmm.
$10 a page.
And that's what I'm thinking, is a donation to be able to be included in that.
You put your
Time
stuff in the
capsule.
time capsule. Again, that's more of a thing, isn't
A similar idea that I've been tossing around is Day in the Life of Raleigh, where people put their selfies on a created Flickr page.
it?
They're gonna do that though, aren't they? Hasn't that been accepted?
Well, I could do it. I'm the only one who's excited about it so far.
I think that's a great idea.
So all we need to do for that, which is great, it's a very easy thing to do. In fact, I set up a Flickr page and I uploaded stuff to it just to see how.
Easily it's done.
Exactly, yes, and it's pretty easy. I mean, you need a username, but like if you're on Yahoo or Gmail or whatever, Facebook, you have a username.
So do you wanna just pull that back in and do it as the library? I know Sue has talked about being excited about that, thinking it was a really good idea.
Yeah, all it takes is some advertising and maybe some training for people to use Flickr. And I think just, we have to pick a day. Same thing with our.
So you would pick a day that everyone would do it,
Mhm.
one day.
Right. It's not quite a time capsule, but it's a snapshot of a day.
Point in time in history.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's great.
That'd be ongoing all the time.
No, it'd be one
No,
day.
it's one
I mean,
day,
it would
It's
be
just
one
one
day.
day in a
Yeah.
life,
Oh,
exactly. What's
okay.
everybody doing on this given day?
On August 13th, 2000.
Do we have a date in the
And
library?
14th, 2000.
Just a year.
I don't know, but hopefully people would like be creative and like go to landmarks, go to that one diner, like go to the common,
Well, I'm
like.
thinking if you could pick a day that had a ton of stuff going on, like June 25th.
Summer reading kickoff.
Some reading cook-off.
It's kinda too soon
White,
now.
I know, White Farms. The vice principal is leaving, or assistant principal is leaving Pine Grove. They're gonna be going away party for her that day. 25th.
But yeah,
That's not much time.
No, I know, it's too soon, but a day like that, like,
But it is also
would be
supposed to
good.
be a random day,
Right.
sort of, just what is happening on this day, what are we going to?
Yeah, the ordinary is the extraordinary.
Right.
But if we do it
Just
in the
one.
summer, there won't be nearly as much stuff going on as if you did it during the school year, where there's scouts and sports and.
It could be more around the time of the
Of all the events.
6th,
Yeah.
those events.
Yeah, and you could, the 1st of September is actually Labor Day this year, isn't it?
Yep.
You do it 9,
Sounds bad.
14, 14. Something a little more structured.
Random but not random. Well, because we can't do it immediately anyway, the idea of doing it,
Yeah.
I think, is generally accepted.
Yeah, I like it, and if,
So can I task each of you, like, look at your family calendars and see if there's sort of an ideal, for whatever reason?
August 24th,
Lulu's birthday.
the entire town should celebrate.
Who's-
My daughter's birthday.
so pick a day that we think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Do we want to wait till the fall, or, September when there's sports and scouts and school and stuff?
I mean,
is
that would,
happening?
well, yeah, it
What
might,
about the day the zip trip is in town?
oh, that's a
Is
good
that August
idea.
23rd?
The zip trip.
Fox News, in the summer on Fridays, I know, in the summer on Fridays, they do a zip trip and they go to a particular zip code and they broadcast from there and all different organizations. They really
They blitz it.
do like a day in the life.
Yeah.
They go to the local pizza joint or donut shop, they usually go to the firehouse, things like
I
that.
mean, if we could get the zip trip people to mention it, even if it wasn't that day, if it was like a week out from that day or something like that.
I'd like to see this, I don't know where they're gonna be. No one seems to know how they fix that up.
I don't think they were solicited by 375, I think it's just random.
It would be nice if they did it from our mom. Okay, so background check.
Yeah, so I mean, we just needed enough lead time to sort of get the idea out there and,
So that, I mean, that's similar, that's all photo taking, so is that
Yeah.
in lieu of photo contest?
well, you know what, we could, maybe we could combine them, like,
And the
winning
best
pictures
one-
will be something.
I like the idea of the photo contest in that it can go through onto a calendar or
Mhm.
something that we can use. I think the photo contest would be, again, good to have after,
To have all those photos.
well, to have the submissions be after, so that we hopefully do get submissions that are related to the 375.
I'll brainstorm that, and I'll see if I can find a source for a prize,
I don't see Melanie on
and maybe some judges. I can see if
Oh, that's
that's
drawing
here.
here. It's why it said 2014.
What do people think about judging? Do you think that we should have people in the know judge, or just people,
There's maybe
like
some,
townspeople
like, local
vote?
photographers that would give them a little bit of publicity to be the judge.
And then, like, staff and trustees, I'm thinking, how many judges do we need?
I bet you could get Jen Dubus to do it, or
Do this?
Dubus.
Craig Monroe, he does the photography on the side. Gail Michael, she does a lot of the sports stuff.
Yeah, maybe we're kind.
She's funny people.
I bet Michelle could give us someone from the Daily News. Mark,
Mhm.
maybe? Okay. All right, I'll brainstorm this.
Okay.
So we're
So,
good on 375th.
okay, I was gonna say, a lot of this stuff needs to go to subcommittee now, we're, okay. Is there anything new on the website?
Nope.
Okay. And
Before we move on, Pam, do we have artwork on the new logo? Because
So we selected out of the 10 or whatever designs that she made for us, but I don't have the file, all I have is the PDF. I've been using it, but if you want, you want like a vector file before you start like really, yeah,
for the parade.
yeah. But you know what, that's a good excuse for me to get back in touch with them.
Yeah, because if I can, and what if, I'm trying to remember, we chose the one that's long, right? So that would fit perfectly on a banner.
Didn't we choose the other down?
No, it's long.
Okay.
I think we chose the long one because it took up less space. Yeah, so.
That's,
I
no,
can
that's
get that.
perfect, because that gives me.
But at the
excuse
same
to-
time,
to
send me
that.
the PDF, because when I see how, because I made the ones in the car out of PDF, so when I see how
Mhm.
grainy they look.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll know whether or not a PDF is good enough.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, website update.
So have we moved on to website update? And that was
Yes.
the first update?
Yeah, the first update is there is no update, other than Pam's going to get the file so that we can have a banner and magnets and whatever else. Anything on the overdue materials?
Yeah, I met with Michelle last week, gave her my hard copy, then she asked me for electronic, so I only sent that to her today. But she just wrote back when we were talking, when I saw her yesterday too. The one that I would say is, should people call the library to see if they own a book?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Pam, John and I were talking about this. The books that are on this list that have been bailed, are they still in people's accounts?
Mhm.
So that if they go to the cert desk, they can check and
Mhm.
it's there,
Mhm.
okay?
Maybe we should the article say something about how you can check without calling the library? You know, if you log onto your account on MBLS, you can look at your status.
I can tell you, these people aren't gonna be logging in. We bought a book 2 years ago because Lauren lost one, my wife came in, paid $4, we're clean.
Mhm.
So, generally, those books, it's, I'd say 80% of it's probably that kind of situation,
Yeah.
somebody lost something.
Mhm.
But what I said to her is, it's sort of an amnesty program, there's not gonna be monster fines, we just want the book replaced.
Mhm.
You know, come in, either give it back or replace it.
Mhm.
And then they're not gonna get tagged with a huge fine,
Right.
so.
I wonder if there are people, I mean, maybe people who found the book or who initially didn't bring it back, fearing that there'd be some huge fine. And that's what
Yeah.
I'd like to let people know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not like we're doing this and a there is no fine.
Right.
Right,
Bring it
that's kind
back.
of what we were trying to go through the article.
Yeah, just bring it back.
But she just said, you know, what time frame is this over? Oh my God, everything I've got is like every year. So I actually made a couple graphics I still have shown.
Yeah.
Mhm. Cool.
So I took this stuff, the summary data that showed that you did, and I just put it in a couple of charts so that she could put it in the newspaper.
Thanks,
You
great.
know, so
Yeah.
we'll see if she uses it.
When
And
it,
then if the books aren't returned, does the library have to buy new copies with the money that was earmarked for something else?
yes.
Mhm.
So I've already had this conversation, but she's asking me again, so.
If this article ends up being like a big enough headline article, maybe we should go out and buy a bunch of copies and hang them up.
Yeah, yeah,
That would be
definitely.
good to
Post
see,
it,
yeah, blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, did everybody see her name on the front page of the town common a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago? We
Mhm.
posted that in the children's room.
It's on our
Yeah.
fridge.
So that's very important.
Great, thank you. I think, Jen, leave that on the agenda, because I think we sort of also thought after this, maybe a letter, a pleasant phone call or something.
Like, hey, maybe
I know.
that's
Copy of the article. yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Right, I'll do that for next
And
month.
the article might say like, expect a phone call or a letter from the library, or I don't know.
We'll be in
We kind of
touch.
decided, yeah,
Well, and another thing we should do is we should link the article, share the article on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting too to track how successful it is. And I
Mhm.
wonder,
I'm not sure, I mean, we'll have to sort of earmark those titles somehow.
yeah, we have to
Might
somehow
be
get
some more work
back
that's
into the
worth, yeah.
spreadsheet. Unless could we run the same report 3 months from now and see what's fallen
I
off?
don't think so. Well, yeah, you could, yeah, you could do it that way.
Find all the new things that have been added to it. Okay.
On old business, I just wanted to, how the scanner, barcode scanner, how's that working?
The self-check?
No,
Good, in fact, did you see the step stool we got? We got a little step stool for it. It's, I think it needs a little adjustment because I'm not sure a child would really
I don't know.
have enough weight to get that safety lock in, but it might just need a little WD-40, I'm not sure.
You'd probably want it to trigger with like as little as 25.
I mean, I kind of had to like jump on it, so I think,
Yeah, we need.
yeah.
That makes me feel better, because I didn't at all. No, you probably want, because like a 25-pound child can come over and start climbing up it, and
Right.
it scoots out, you probably want it to be pretty
Pretty
sensitive.
I think,
Yes.
yeah. And it was
It's on
it was a little bit, one of the wheels was not at the same level as the other wheels, and I said to Amy, I would just return it, I wouldn't start banging on it. And she called them up and they said, no, bang on it, so, Richard hammered it in, so I think it probably just needs, like I said, a little oil in there or something.
Okay, so you think there's just too much resistance?
Yeah, I think it's just not getting in. Exactly, that might be it, just broken in. We're kind of at the stage where we need to decide if we're gonna keep that, self-check. We have it, again, on a 3-month trial period.
Keep what?
The self-check?
So the
The
self-check.
self-check was a
Sorry,
free,
just yesterday.
is a free 3-month trial period for us, because
And
we
it's-
actually approved a different, more expensive version. So this company said, we'll try ours free for 3 months, and if you like it, keep it, and if not, we'll come get it.
Because they're trying to expand their business.
Right.
Like the one that most libraries have now.
So when it first got here, there was a little flurry of back and forth with the tech people to get it set up the way we wanted it, to get the messages that we wanted it to say correct. And then
And how was their response? How was their service when you were doing all that?
I would say at times good, at times not so good. And then, and honestly, this is another one of those things, I've been too busy to deal with it. I've been like, yeah, let's hear people are using it, but I don't have time, or I didn't have time with rallies and everything else, budget things, to really get into it with them. I'm like, okay, here's what we still want. Can we do this? Can we do that? I have kind of a little list I've been keeping. So I really need to get back to that salesperson and the tech people and say, okay, these are the questions that are still pending from you. Can it do this? Can it do that? Can it do the other? One thing it does not do, which I wish it would, is tell you if you have a hold at the desk. Because that would certainly stink to be here, get a book, go home, get an email, oh, I have a book.
Yeah.
Although I guess most people walk around with their email now anyway.
Does the 3M one do that?
No,
So,
so
and now this one has been added to Burlington.
Burlington has been using it longer than we have, yes. And they're happy with it, I called them.
What's the cost of which you picked, and it's
4,000 and 8,000.
Which is why we wanted to give this one a shot,
It's no brainer.
mostly, but
well, it's good enough.
At the time, it wasn't a no-brainer.
The question is.
We were the first customer
Yeah.
in America.
The question, yeah,
And they.
it's an
don't-
American system that's selling mostly in Europe, isn't that?
no,
It
the
was written-
software
the software
was
was-
written somewhere in Europe. And the company Basecamp is a very well-established library company, but this is a new product for them.
That they had kind of at one point said they were gonna do, and then they abandoned the project, and then decided they were gonna do it again.
Basecamp?
Basecamp, one word.
And we didn't want
They're
to sign
Basecamp.
on and then have you say, okay, we're discontinuing it and not really supporting it any longer.
Have fun with that.
It was quite a debate.
After we've invested a lot of money into it, so.
Yeah, so pretty much all of our neighbor libraries that have self-check have the 3M, which is 8,000. This is like a new scrappy young player in the industry, and we're taking a chance.
And in town meeting, we got $7,500 to pay for it anyway, so, and it's money we can only use for self-check, so.
But we also got to test.
It wasn't that.
Right, but going with the $4,000 one, we were able to
Get the
build
furniture.
the furniture that we needed. And we had a couple other little bills from the networking and the IT
Like
stuff.
Run wires and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, that's coming back to the top of my priority list, is to get that final check-in with Basecamp, get our last few questions answered. I'm also not quite happy with a couple of the messages on the screen. What was happening is I would say, okay, change this, change that. You could see them working on it remotely, and then the changes would be made. And then we just didn't quite get all of them made.
Now, with the 3M system, do you still need them to make the customizations, or can you make them within the library?
I think Basecamp can teach us to do the customizations ourselves.
Okay.
I think they just, for whatever reason, did not.
Well, we were still on loan. too.
Right, and what I heard from,
We don't own it, so they don't want us to go too much into it.
yeah, I heard from Burlington that they did sort of teach them how to do it.
Okay.
But people are using it. I mean, several times a day I see people using it.
And I was gonna ask, is there a way to track how much people?
That's
are
one of
using
my list of questions for them,
So
is
like give it a
statistics. Yeah.
it? Because when you check, you can run a report to say what has been taken out at Children's 1, and CERC 1, and CERC 2, and King.
I would imagine so. I've never tried, but I would think so.
You can,
I mean,
I
I
look by book, which,
yes,
Probably
when you
that
scan an item, it tells you where it was last checked in and checked out.
so in the book record, but whether or not you can report on it.
Right, I'm sure, if the data's in there, it can be extracted one
Okay,
way or another, but we would probably have to have Central Site do it.
okay, because that would be interesting to see what percent of books are used.
I think we should probably have it running in close to 90 days.
It's been 3 months, it was beginning of March, I think. Yeah,
I think it's worth asking them to make the adjustments and extending it another 3 months. I mean, what do they have to lose by letting it sit there another 3 months versus having you remove it?
Now, if we do decide to not purchase it, can we have them come get it, which was supposed to be the deal?
well, I think they would, do reverse shipping.
Okay.
And
Is there any reason where you don't want to keep it?
No.
do we have any information that resides on it that we would want?
Personal information.
No, because it's just
Just
a
a
conduit,
conduit,
yeah,
yes.
it's just used
So
to
there's
say
no
to go.
reporting or any data on it?
No. We did write a couple of scripts, I say we, but PRS, our IT people wrote a couple of scripts that are on it that could easily be removed, but one of them suppresses Windows, and another one of them is a auto run, so that the software turns on when the computer turns on.
So for our next agenda, we should probably review if we're going to move forward with that or with the 3 Ms originally.
We need to have some kind of vote, because on the record right now, we voted to buy 3M. So we need to.
I don't know that that's true.
It is true, we voted to buy 3M.
Okay, then the subsequent vote
I think.
Change that.
I think we voted to recall that while
Yeah.
we sampled the other product.
We voted to sample the other product, we never addressed on voting for 3M.
So when we make the decision, we'll do an unvote?
Yes, we'll just vote to negate one, because right now the minutes show that we're buying 3M.
AC stopped working. It's getting hot.
Yeah, it's getting warm in
It
there.
does,
Oh, yeah.
it turns itself off at like 8:45 or something. We're mostly done, aren't we done?
Mostly. Yeah, it was-
One new business item, when we get to it.
Okay. Oh, so you don't even have new business on here.
There was no new business that anybody sent me,
Oh,
so, no, I don't. Their outreach, we kind of talked about during 375th. So the building and grounds, you said you're expecting another bid for the
Mhm.
AP. There was an agenda item about the painting bid from last month.
You take a look at that.
I'm just wondering about status, that's all.
the last I spoke with Doreen, which was earlier in the week, or kind of the last week, she needed to go over the dates with Debbie because the rules for when it's posted and when the meetings are and the blah, 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 it's all prescribed by procurement laws. So they just need to work out the dates before they release the RFP.
And then we'll adjourn the RFP again, like we did
Right.
last time.
No,
So it's
no, you reviewed it last month.
So we're just,
You reviewed it, well, okay, so last month you agreed to reopen it.
Right.
the exact, so the same one that
Yes.
we, okay.
So we don't need to read.
The only difference between the new one and that one was that the amendments that came out later are included in the
Okay.
base document.
Okay. So it's everything that we decided before we're doing again.
Yeah, good, it's exactly the same.
That's all we had under our subcommittees, really.
Because anyone who didn't do a subcommittee assignment last month.
It's also
So
not
here.
this month.
Here, yeah.
Report from the Friends meeting, very briefly again, they're absolutely desperate for some more support. Rumor has it that the library, that the church is gonna break ground on their septic, so we are planning for a chili cook-off in the fall. Chili going. And let's see, they agreed that if Pam could find a person to teach yoga for the summer, they would fund that.
Yes, we are going to have a substitute yoga teacher again this summer, Mrs. Sherman of Beautiful Souls, which is here in Raleigh. She taught last summer's class as well.
They did vote in a new recording secretary. I can't say her last name, her first name is Linda.
Eidner Crooks.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Her first name is Sieglinde, Sieglinde.
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 I don't know.
And her last name is Aigner.
Yep.
Dash
Apostrophe
Crooks.
Crooks. K-R-O-K-S.
No, C-R-O-O.
Sorry, yeah, like a crook.
Like a crook.
She's all right.
Lost your mind.
Yeah,
She's a fine woman. Siggy, yeah, she's a fine woman.
Yeah.
So she is their new recording secretary. Anything else about these?
We talked about applying for the grant for the AV.
Oh, right.
The Friends also sponsored a new bookmark we're having made. We kind of have to redo all of our brochures and documents and everything with the new hours. So that's in the works. But we have, there's this one bookmark that we give out that has a list of museum passes. So it has the museum passes on the back and the hours and contact information on the front. So the Friends just decided to sponsor, have 2,000 of those made for us, which is nice.
Remember, the same passes makes me remember the Spinners mascot, when they, remember they said that they would send us this.
Alligator.
Maybe we get him here to do it.
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know if people are really aware that we actually have a discount pass to the whole spinners, and we're actually trying to increase use of that simply so that it's more
It
popular.
hasn't been underused, but it's pretty
They
cheap,
have
so.
daytime gigs, don't they?
Maybe on Saturdays and Sundays they might.
I'm sure the council on aging that they could load up that bus and
That would be fun.
have a day trip to Lowell.
Well, we don't have a discount for the entire crew.
Right, no, but, I mean, bus isn't that big. It's six
people, I
people
think.
for one pass, right?
Yeah.
And is there 2 passes?
No.
So it's just one pass.
Who's the head of the Friends?
It's
It's
judge.
Nancy Judge? Anybody else on the Friends?
The other officers are Karen Herringer and Sigley
Treasurer.
Karen
Herrick.
Herrick.
We have 5 o'clock games, 7 o'clock games, 6 o'clock games. Doesn't look like anything much earlier than that. Not in this one.
June 26th is Pedro Martinez bobblehead day, if anyone's interested in that.
Who isn't interested in it? Pedro Martinez bobblehead.
How do you happen to know that?
I was on their website.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
So the
getting the
passes-
logo.
Let me book those passes.
The passes aren't available, because Pam already went with them.
Pam, do you need another 3 people in your set?
There is actually an 11:05 a.m. game on July 17th. And there's a 3:30. Oh, at Fenway.
You're looking at the away games, Janet.
Sorry, I'm just doing all.
Dark-
I'm not
dark
paying
games are
attention.
home
Yeah, I'm
games.
not paying any attention. I'm just looking at the times. Okay, so yeah, most of the home games are 5 o'clock at the earliest.
There's one, 11 o'clock.
One, yeah,
Yeah.
random one in July, on a Tuesday. Anyway, that's beside the point. Okay, so that was kind of the Friends meeting. That's really about it. I've made note of a couple things to make sure we keep on the July agenda.
Safe Care. I was here last week dropping something off, I can't remember what it was, with my daughter, who's, you saw the girl was here with me. And we walked out, and she was probably 3 or 4 steps ahead of me, and she stepped off the curb, and I grabbed her, and someone was hit her.
No, those bushes have to be cut
They
back.
were trimmed.
The bushes,
They need to.
They were trimmed today.
when they were first installed, they were waist high, and now, and the person that almost hit us was horrified. She goes, "You cannot see anybody coming out of the doors." She goes, "I saw you, but I didn't see your daughter because she's so little." And,
Okay,
Well,
I'll have
we-
them trim that more.
well, I'm just saying is when we first installed those edges years ago, they were just waist high boxes. They were waist high. They've done phenomenally well. I don't know if we want to consider, just a thought.
No, he trimmed them, I think, today.
But I
There was
think
I don't
she
think
trimmed
he-
the back, we was talking about trimming them down.
I don't think,
So you
yeah,
can see over
4
the,
feet
yeah.
off.
I think we need to drastically trim
like
them.
down to the fence.
I think
line.
people
I
need to go
thought-
more slowly in the driveway.
Yeah.
I think,
I thought the same.
I think both of those things need to happen, but even originally when we said trim them, and I originally
Well-
said if we hack them off, it won't be any green. One of these days,
They've grown-
someone's gonna get hit.
I've done that. Where I grew up, we had boxwoods.
They'll come
And
down.
we've cut them down.
They'll come back.
They look crappy for a
Yeah.
couple months, but they grow back.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
So
I've
anyways,
bonsaied the trees at my house for a couple of times.
Well, just an interesting rally history factor, like when I first came here, they were still finishing up things in the building, and I'm like, well, when are they gonna paint the crosswalk? Like, I thought there was supposed to be a crosswalk across the driveway. Oh, no, because that would encourage people to park in the town hall parking lot,
Yeah.
and not the library parking lot.
Well, even if you go into the
That's what I was told.
library parking lot, like I would
All
love
those
to see the
selectmen,
bushes taken out and
gone.
made it.
Yeah,
it's time to revisit that. That should have been done. So let's.
I mean, I don't know where
I
the
thought-
official walkway would be, it'd be where the curb cut is, I guess. I
Or
don't
in the
know.
back from one parking lot to the other, because there's actually, if you were to put it right here, you're ending up pushing people onto the grass.
And I don't think we can just decide to paint a
No.
crosswalk. I think we need.
No, but we
Yeah.
could,
So
we
like,
could, yeah. Is that what we're at?
But even still, I mean, by the time someone comes around that corner and sees the crosswalk, you can't see it. Maybe a sign instead of a
Well,
sign.
another thing we talked about was there's a
Right.
sign on this side that says pedestrian walkway, but maybe there needs to be one on that side. But again, that's town hall property. I think I asked them to move it even, and it was another little uproar.
Yeah, I think, even before when we trimmed them down a little and I came and I helped her trim, I think they need to be drastically trimmed because someone's gonna get hit and I'm gonna be sick
Okay,
because it's been years.
that's easy.
do you want to talk to town hall, or do you want to initiate
Bushes,
that?
cut the bushes.
No, not so much the bushes, I'm talking about the crosswalk.
I think probably a letter to the Board of Selectmen would be,
I was gonna
Wait
make
a
a call
s-
at their meeting first.
I was
yeah.
gonna say, I'll email them.
How do we make this
Well,
work?
Yeah,
if it's-
yeah.
If it's coming from the board, should it come from Janet?
I don't mind emailing them, I email her all the time.
I'm sorry, are we asking for signage or we're asking for
Both.
crosswalk?
Well, we'll ask what we can do to cooperate on getting people safely across the drive, you know.
Safety improvements after 10 years that we've seen really should be addressed. Put it right on them. And that way, if something happens, it's like, we
Yeah.
brought this up, you said no, I don't know, plan with the selectmen, that's what you have to do.
That's
You
the
have to
thing,
s-
I mean, if anyone's ever hit and it's
There
like,
was-
well,
at
should
that
they talk
time,
about
there
it
was
at a
still-
trustee meeting?
A lot of
Well,
possibility
that's what-
about
yeah.
the whole everything.
No, we have a very good relationship
Parking lot
with
issues and all.
Yeah.
the town
And the
hall.
sacred
Yeah, the wall.
line in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a whole wall.
I heard the recaps of it, yeah, but that's why they were like, are you crazy? There's not a crossing walk there.
Well,
I was just like, okay, did you forget to paint it? Like, of course there should be a crosswalk here.
well, it's not a crosswalk to speak on. I mean, I know
Oh, we
there's not
talked about
enough
getting
space.
these
to
talks
get
about
it.
it, yeah.
There was the whole thing about
We
plowing.
were sure about plowing, yeah.
But if we cut those bushes down, then people will be able to see.
I would still say it's people would be great, slows people down.
Mhm.
Because people do rip out of the back.
I agree.
Yes.
So
Um,
we can maybe discuss all these issues.
Yeah, we can talk about it after, but I'll definitely follow up.
And do you know, Patrick Snow?
No. The new highway person?
I think you had a sign for him on your lawn.
That was somebody in my past, my mother put one on there. That wasn't me, that was my mother. I don't put political signs for anybody anywhere.
I just.
I mean, I don't know him, I'm
Yeah.
not saying I would have refused, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know him at all. Anyway, so we're going to crosswalk.
And possibly signage, better signage. So the
Just a
ad,
reminder of myself, sorry.
Safety signage.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything else?
I have one small thing, so the, just to finalize this, our long-range plan hard copies are going in the mail to the people who help us with our focus groups. Does anybody want a hard copy?
Yeah. I can email it to you.
Yeah. I'll email it, yeah. I don't know, take one.
Maggie, you said yes.
Yes, so the selectmen, a couple to the finance committee, probably Karen Summit. Anybody else? And I'll put it on the website, the PDF. We can put couple copies here in the library.
Everyone.
You have one, actually.
I can do it on my computer.
Well, I mean, you have hard copies.
I think that you should give them. I did, I brought them to another meeting. I think it was the same kind of thing, like take one if you want one. Josh, do you want one?
Frugal. Save some.
Is that the color?
Oh, yeah, the PDF will be in color. If you think of anybody else that, we will want to publicize it to, let me know.
I did not do a great job of keeping track of action items, so I have that Josh and Pam will contact, what do you want to call it? Not HVAC, it's
Defensive vendors, sure.
Sprinkler vendors,
sprinkler, thank you.
It's actually fire suppression system, irrigation system, sprinkler system.
Suppression system, vendors. Okay. Shall we research handouts for libraries connection to 375th?
I'll just research if we'd be stepping on any toes to give out the Rowley book. I will order a banner for the parade with artwork that Pam gets me.
So you're ordering the,
A banner and carry the parade?
And I'll brainstorm the photo contest so that we can have judges, dates, and display options at the next meeting.
Talk to some reason about something.
That was the round. And I will research the parade, ideas for the parade, find out who might want to participate in March in the parade, and handouts for that, as well as handouts for you.
So I actually have that Maggie was going to do some of the stuff on the parade as well, so I'll let Michelle and Maggie will
Yeah,
discuss the parade and
let me know what I can do.
Okay. I will follow up with the vegan.
Janet, you're sending updated minutes. I'm sorry, Jen,
I
are you
already
following
did
up
that.
with the vegan on?
Safety issue.
Okay.
What did you do?
I think I have some more.
I'm just gonna-
I am to nudge the website vendors, look into reporting on the self-check, look at the gallery schedule, the gallery schedule.
Yep.
And I'll take a look at the tents and the next meeting to decide if we want to invest in new ones or if these are functional.
I'm gonna do some NFPA research.
Thank you.
So it's NFPA 1600.
I'm sorry, I know which chapter it is too. It's chapter,
I'm just going to look at the tents that we have, see if they're usable.
I'll send you what chapter it is. I'm sorry,
It's-
John, it's sprinkler systems. That are labeled, 38, I think.
NFPA fire suppression system.
Fire suppression system.
And I'm gonna see if I can find some volunteers from friends.
Excellent.
We have a couple of people.
You're looking to the regulations, is that for that?
Yeah, that's what I do. but
There's
NIST
there's standards,
3800,
it's like a code, yeah,
It's exactly a code.
yeah. Yeah.
So I would actually go back to the vendor and say, could you just cite which NFPA rank I'd like to read it?
Mhm.
So they're either playing fast and loose, which is nice.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely,
If you ever come back to, if you let me know, because I work pretty close these days, like, I actually schedule you with it. Interesting.
well, and the fact that they didn't drain it properly the first time, and they say, well, we didn't install it, the guy who installed it didn't have a level.
Doesn't matter, we're doing the work, my expectation is to do it.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
if it's a compressed air system, why is there water cooling in the system where it's, I have my sprinkler system blown out, because if water stays in the system, my pipes, my
Right,
in-ground sprinkler system freezes.
right.
That happened with me. Not good. But then it was me. And now I've been done professionally because I did such a crappy job. I had to replace 3 heads.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll
You know
offer a
what, that-
motion to adjourn the meeting.
That reminds me of another action item. I'm going to ask the landscape people if they've opened up our system yet.
It's action items this week.
And if we're going to use it. I think there's a ban already.
There is a ban
water
already,
Yeah,
The price of
Voluntary one,
yeah.
Yep.
They've opened our sprinkler system yet?
if they have.
Just FYI, they have sort of put in their service plan for the year, which the Friends approved. The typical stuff they do, overseeding and aerating, drug control, and fertilization.
And all trustees are supposed to look at their calendars to try to determine an interesting day in Rowley
For a day of life of rally, yes,
What's
thank
it
you.
rated?
before the end of this year.
Well, early enough so that we get the calendar printed.
Right.
I say by
Oh,
September.
actually, that's two
Well,
different things, sorry.
That's two
Yeah,
different
yeah.
things. So we will-
Yeah.
But September 30th would be a good time to show because we did September 30th for all bushes. Then we have a month to, a couple of weeks to figure it out and then have enough time to print them up and be selling or doing whatever.
But if we're
End of the
gonna,
year.
but then we need to decide if we're doing a calendar from the photo contest or the day in the line, or both, or
Lots of
maybe
materials
that's what we
usually.
do, both people sign the same, but if you're just posting it to.
You're gonna be tricky to do it on the day of the election.
If you, well, yeah, it's,
You know, if there's one
it'll
day
say
that-
submitted by.
Yes, we could reach out and say, we'd like to use it, will you sign this? And they can say no, but
When is the next Friends meeting?
Second Tuesday, of July.
Would be the 8th. Our next meeting will be July 15th.
What time is the volunteer, is the Friends meeting?
The Friends are at 7, and the Friends actually usually succeed. They try very hard to keep their meetings to 1 hour only.
Did you say July 8th?
Correct.
I'm away that day.
Okay. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Okay, great. Adjourning at 9:33 p.m. Thank you.